What up? It's me, your girl Naboo and the bub. Sorry, I've been kind of slacking on uploading a little bit. I mean, I'm still unpacking, and also I've just been straight up slacking. But that's okay. Here's part 2 to your nasty daddy-daughter Donnie. Blech. And if you make it to the end of this video, why don't you drop your favorite? You just drop your favorite emoji. Just your all-time favorite. Thanks.
We find Cliffhanger where we left him last, hanging from a cliff.
Girl and then have sex with her. You're gonna get your 70-year-old body all over this little girl.
Thank you.
Right? That was a plan?
That sounds very dirty.
Well, what the hell is it, Donnie?
Thank you, Chris.
Well,
Chris.
that's enough from talking that I need.
Can't hold on much longer. Molest this 13-year-old girl and then have sex with her. You're gonna get your 70-year-old body all over this little girl.
Thank you, Chris.
Right? That was a plan?
That sounds very dirty.
Well, what the hell is it, Donnie?
Thank you, Chris.
Well,
Chris.
that's enough from talking that I need to do.
What do you do for a living, Don?
I'm retired.
What did you do before you
I was
retired?
an engineer.
An engineer.
Yeah.
You made a good living.
Yes.
How does a guy who's an engineer, living a comfortable retirement, turn into a predator who drives into another state to have sex with a...
He really is just using the old lines. How does a blank from blank go from blank to blank?
13-year-old girl?
I don't really know.
Yes, you
I
do,
can't
Donnie.
tell after that.
You can't help me with this?
No. When we got married, I know that one of the people actually thought I had what was called a love disorder.
A love disorder.
Love disorder. Is that what we're calling it now?
Is that something you know of, or
I've never heard it.
love it?
That is some old school batshit psychology bullshit. Like, that is some American Horror Story Asylum type psychology, and I believe it. They considered homosexuality a love disorder. They considered dating outside of your race a love disorder.
Addiction,
Wait, love addiction?
Yeah.
Sex addiction I've heard of.
Well, they said it wasn't really a sex addiction, but it's that you wanted to be needed.
You want to be needed. But you could be needed with somebody who's of legal age.
So you're a narcissist and you need to control somebody by keeping them dependent on you. So that's what it is. And that's a big reason why these people go after children, because it's so much simpler and so much easier to put a child into that.
Donnie.
Well, I agree.
Because children not only depend on you for survival support, like physical support, like keeping them alive, they depend on you for emotional support and spiritual support. And
I mean, this is among the worst cases I've ever seen. And you sat here and told the undercover detective, who you thought was the father of the 13-year-old child, that it was good that he was putting his daughter out for sex with an older man. You said that.
Oh, yeah.
I heard it.
I heard it. We all heard
Why
it.
did you think it was good for a father to allow his 13-year-old daughter to have sex with a 70-year-old man? Why is that good in any way?
I don't know.
You don't know. But you said it was good.
Well, yeah, I said a lot of things. I said I'd done other 13-year-olds too, and I hadn't.
But you said you were talking to a 15-year-old and you're going to do her when she turns 16.
Well, yeah, but that's the age of legal at that time.
See, this is the problem that I have with Chris only saying it's not legal. They can't legally consent, because it's more than just about the legality of it. Consent laws vary from state to state, from country to country. It's about physical development. It's about the brain. It's about taking advantage of naivety and ignorance of being a child. And that's what stolen innocence is. Stolen innocence is when you are a child and you are trusting people around you to guide you, and they guide you deliberately into enslavement. This father has enslaved his child. you can't say it's not slavery.
It creates the impression that you do this a lot, Donnie.
Well, 2 cases.
Because when you start talking about whether or not it's legal, then you can go and just run off to another state where you're doing the same damage, but because that state is behind the times, you're able to get away with it, and that's how you justify it, and you're not actually creepy because it was legal. No, it's still a child. And this goes for boys too. Like, it's not just men doing it to little girls, it's adult women doing it to teenage boys too. You know, like these creepy teachers who predate on their male students having sex with these young 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old boys. They have no fucking idea what they're doing. And why would a woman need to have sex with a boy? Because she needs something that she can control. It's the same thing. It's a sickness. It doesn't matter what gender you are. Predator is a predator, and a vulnerable child is a vulnerable target.
That was it.
You just woke up this morning decided to get into some sort of a chat room or social media
We've
site.
been talking for a long time.
All right. Well, I just got a couple other things here. Now, you have daughters of your own.
Yes.
Did you have sex with your daughters
No,
when they were
I did
13?
not.
Did you offer your 13-year-old daughters for
No, I
sex
did
with
not.
adult men? Then why is it okay for you to come here and do it today, Don?
He definitely did. He definitely did. We're gonna have to do some deep diving on Donnie.
Hey, explain
It's
that.
not.
It's not. But you're here.
Statistically, he did.
I know.
Are you a predator?
No.
Yes.
You're going to prey upon a 13-year-old girl?
Well, we don't know that.
Well,
We
what?
do know
I'm
that.
not really sure I can even get a hard on, just to tell you the
Did you
truth.
bring
Yeah,
Viagra or
right,
no
Donnie.
drug?
It's not about getting the hard on,
So you're
Donnie.
just
You
gonna
would have her.
this experiment.
You would have her suck your limp ass noodle cock for hours to no avail, just to have that power, just to make her do that.
And see if you can pull it off,
Basically.
basically. When's the last time you had sex with a young girl?
With a young girl,
Yeah,
2 or 3 years ago.
2 or 3 years ago. And when's the last time you met a girl online and then went to go have sex with her?
Probably 2 or 3 years ago.
2 or 3 years ago. Why then today?
I don't know. There was a conversation that we all had, and
Got all fired up.
Who's we all?
he really said, you know, how excited he was. And how everybody was so excited and wanted to
Everybody's so excited. Everybody, it's party time.
do this. And
Do you have a sexual addiction, Donnie?
no,
It's compulsion. I'm stress eating banana
one
bread.
psychologist said it was a sexual,
Love disorder,
Deviancy?
yeah.
something like that.
Something
maybe.
like deviancy, yeah.
You weren't paying
My
attention,
thing
Donnie.
is I want to explore.
You want to explore.
I want to explore
You're an
sexual
adventurer.
Yes, the adventure,
Right.
that's what.
Why don't you climb a mountain?
Can't hold on much longer.
As opposed to come over and rape a 13-year-old girl.
Well, the thing of it is, it's more the journey than the end result.
Yeah, it's all about that experience of driving down 70, which is always bad. It's all about driving up to that drive-in and ordering that milkshake. Maybe get yourself a little side of fries. It's all about that waddle up to the door.
Really?
And I'm not sure that it's like hunting. It's more the chase than
Hunting. This is like hunting to you.
now you're twisting my words.
I'm just...
Are you a predator? No. It's like hunting. What do you hunt? What, by definition of being a hunter, is the target of a hunter? Prey. What hunts prey? Predators.
I'm asking about your words to have you expand on it.
I like to meet new people.
You like to meet new people. Now, you can't go to a social setting near your home where more appropriately aged people are.
I understand what you're saying.
You get what I'm
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
getting to here.
Yeah.
What do you think should happen to you, Donnie?
Well, I think that's probably up to the.
You're in a boatload of trouble, son.
I understand that.
There's something else you need to understand, that I'm Chris Hansen,
Okay.
and I'm a journalist, and we do stories
Okay.
on men who try to meet children for sex.
Okay.
Are you sorry about this?
Absolutely.
What do you tell other men who may be thinking about doing the same thing?
It's not worth it.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Anything else?
No, not for you.
Don't do it.
Donnie, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Before deputies take Donnie away, I want to ask
Come here,
about
Bubba.
another
Come here,
disturbing
Bubba.
detail of his life.
Hey, Donnie, I got one more thing I want to ask you, if that's okay.
Do a Columbo. Do a Columbo.
Just remind me.
What's all this stuff about you meeting some folks over at Penzie and the Greenfield Area Chamber of Commerce? Does that ring a bell with you?
Yeah.
Good old Columbo. Just the one technique, of course. Still, shits on Quincy.
What goes on there?
What goes on at the Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah, the meeting. Is it where you meet people?
No, actually, I facilitate, or I used to facilitate, I still do, but facilitate group meetings with people with addiction behaviors.
Really?
Tell me about that.
Really?
Basically,
How about the
different
blind leading the
behaviors
blind?
That we're not, and we're more into a recovery after somebody has been through treatment for alcoholism.
Oh, you're all about recovery? What about recovery for the victims? What about recovery for the children whose lives you've marred forever, irrevocably? Once that damage is done, there is no getting it back. You're never the same. You can't get that back. Recovery. Recovery.
Drugs, whatever.
Are you a recovering alcoholic?
No, my recovery is from anger and the experiences I have before from the sex deviant type stuff.
And you're so qualified
When you say
because
your
you've got it
previous
under control.
sex deviant type stuff, was that an addiction for you? And again, I'm not trying to embarrass you. I'm trying to help other folks who might be in the same situation.
I don't know if it was an addiction. Nobody ever really pinpointed it.
Right. But what was it? What were you doing that made you concerned?
The only thing I was doing was I was on websites talking to women.
Right. And were
Children,
you meeting them or just
No.
talking?
prostitutes.
Just talking to them.
And
Who knows?
was this fulfilling a fantasy of yours just by talking?
Yes.
Or you were getting all that way? Chat.
Well, according to my psychologist at the time, I was feeling the need to be needed.
And so you would go on these sites, you would meet these random people, you would have this sexually charged conversation, but you wouldn't meet.
No, it never made. Most of them,
It was fantasy.
99% of them are fake. Either they're hookers
Right?
or there's somebody trying to scam you out of money.
Got it.
Oh, send me $50 and I'll come. No, you want to send me $50 and you come.
Did you ever get taken by any of these folks?
No, they're pretty recognizable.
Yeah. So how long did this behavior go on before you...
Oh yeah, Donnie's a master at weeding out the catfish. Totally. He's so good at that. He's so internet savvy. Wow.
decided you were going to get some help, some treatment for it?
Before I got divorced, I got into recovery programs.
And was that an attempt to save your marriage or just to save your own sanity?
Well, both.
Yeah. So your wife caught you messing around online, is that?
Well, she knew I was talking to other people online.
Right.
She didn't like it. And, well, she was actually playing around on me at the time also.
Oh, was she?
That was pretty devastating.
Whoa, was it? Again, devastating. What's devastating, Donnie? Talk about devastation. This episode is taking a lot out of me emotionally, guys.
So you go to these meetings there and you talk to other people who are recovering from various addictions as well.
Correct.
And it's helped you,
Well, yes, it does helpful. It is helpful.
but it didn't help you today.
And this, I see, is pretty much a relapse.
Yeah, relapse. All right. All right, Donnie. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Don.
19 years.
18 years.
I've been doing predator investigations, and I can honestly tell you I have never seen, heard, or experienced anything quite like that.
Chris looks
Donnie
just
was
as
indicted by a grand jury and charged
sick
with
as
2
I do.
felonies. Importuning, which is the act of soliciting a minor to engage in sexual activity, and possession of criminal tool. Montgomery County Sheriff
The
Rob
milkshake?
Streck sees the dangers of potential child predators when the line between fantasy and reality becomes blurred.
A 70-year-old man drove from Indiana, retired engineer, for a scenario in which he would have sex with a 13-year-old girl, and then he would watch the girl's father have sex with the girl. And then they were all going to have sex together. And when you watch this guy come in, and your detectives and one of your deputies went undercover as the father and the daughter, he's so comfortable, so at home with his notion. He sits on the couch and says, "Oh, you're doing a great thing with your daughter."
Like the Grand Poobah.
Because boys her age don't know how to treat a girl. It is one of the most disturbing things I have ever seen. And this guy was dead serious about doing it. There's no question. This wasn't play acting. This is what he wanted to do. You ever see anything quite like this?
That scenario we've never seen, and I think even some of our hardened detectives and the people that were on the scene, that one surprised them a little bit. It's these fantasies that get in these individuals' heads that to normal people who understand that you can't act on your fantasies, for some reason this individual felt the need that he has to act on it. This is probably a person who is not new at this. To be that comfortable to walk into a situation like that, I don't know for sure because we're not done following up on these cases yet, but that just doesn't seem like someone who's done this for the first time. This seems like somebody who's comfortable with these acts and continues to do them.
Bring us a milkshake to the girl. Go enjoy your milkshake. Come back and we'll start the sex.
Yeah, hurry up. Hurry up. Drink your stupid milkshake.
He then says he thinks it's a good thing that parents are involved in their children's sex lives and sexual education from a hands-on standpoint. It's very, very troubling.
Yeah, it's disturbing. All of these cases, are very serious crimes. People, can the system save them? Can the system help them? We don't know. But once again, you get into these more and more devious fantasies, and it's just even hard to think about how, if you're going to have sex with a child and then watch a child and a parent have sex together and then want to join in, that is just disturbing fantasies that would be very hard to get out of someone's head, especially when you're 70 years old. This is something that he wanted to do, and he followed out. Luckily, he's now across the street in my jail, and hopefully no one else can be victimized. He's a disturbed individual that for some reason has gotten through so far.
And here's the thing, Sheriff. He told me he knew he had issues. He had seen counselors, psychologists about it, and he said, just to top it all off, that he acted as a counselor and ran meetings where he helped other men who had bizarre sexual fantasies.
I bet it was actually a fucking sick pedophile ring that he was running.
Jails and counsels inmates in the Hammond County, Indiana jail on
some really sick shit. How is he allowed to do that? How?
Fantasies, these inappropriate sexual desires and urges, and here he is acting one out. These guys are among us, aren't they?
Yeah, they're
emojis.
And once again, unfortunately, we know that people like to parade in these positions, and more than likely, he's doing it to fulfill his fantasy. He's doing it to tell everybody what a great guy he is, but in reality, he's still knee-deep in those fantasies, obviously. He's at home typing or on his phone typing, trying to set up these relationships, and for him to be in jails working with inmates, this is just one more reason why we do these kinds of things. We're not going to stand for it here in Montgomery County. You're going to go across the street and you're going to stay in the jail, and we're going to prosecute you with everything that we have, whether it's protecting our children, protecting families, or something like this where he's in the community trying to help individuals. These are the ways we can stop them finally, to where somebody says, no, we're not going to allow you to do that, and that hopefully will help keep some people from being victims.
True Blue is the premier source for true crime shows and documentaries. Be sure to check out our full line.
So that was Daddy Daughter Donnie. With some really sick shit. That was really hard for me to watch. I'm sure it was hard for a lot of people to watch. The reality is that every single predator on TCAP, every single predator on Hansen vs. Predator and Have a Seat and Takedown, no matter how stupid and silly and funny and memeable they are, they're just as sick as Daddy Daughter Donnie. Okay? read the chat logs. Read the chat logs that are still available. Go beyond what they show you in the interviews on the show. What I like about Takedown is that they give you the full segment of the interview. It's uncut. And they take it very seriously. This is not a joke. It's not a joke. And again, it's happening right now to thousands, probably millions of children as we speak. As we speak, all over the world. Young boys and young girls. And it's happening here in the USA, in rich neighborhoods, poor neighborhoods, white neighborhoods, minority neighborhoods. It's happening everywhere. And predators come in all shapes and sizes. And just because this particular predator happened to be obviously heinous and happened to have a particularly disturbing interview, read the chat logs because they are all just as sick. Bye-bye. Protect yourself, protect your boundaries. If you feel uncomfortable, you are uncomfortable. Nobody can tell you that you are not uncomfortable. You cannot pretend that you do not feel uncomfortable. You cannot ignore your discomfort. Say something, do something. I love you guys.